Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. We've got another couple of matches here, playing up against my man Jacob. He's rocking Gecko Moria, and I'm playing Perona. And I do want to say, unfortunately, as I was recording these matches the other day, sadly, the light right above us was not the best. It was not agreeing with the camera, but I didn't check it beforehand, so there will be a little bit of a glare here. And as you can see, he is going to play the Sindri down on turn 1. Doesn't happen to hit any of those really useful Thriller Bark cards, but still solid to get a couple of cards into trash for the later stages of the game. And he is just going to swing 6, though, is going to trash a card, gets the Perona into trash, as well as a Sabo and Suru there. Is going to bring that Perona back out, so it forces me to trash a card. I'll go ahead and get rid of the Kuzan here, and I get to pick up a nice Ryuma. I love this card in the list, but if you look at, I don't know if you saw the glance of my hand right there, I happen to have, I believe, 5, or no, not 5, excuse me, all 4 in the hand. Yeah, imagine if I had 5. But it's either all 4 or I have 3, and I'll be drawing into my 4th here pretty soon. No counter power to start us off, but at least some really good answers to a lot of the, Gecko Moria shenanigans that do happen here. So with him being at 5 Dawn, he can pretty easily just bring back the Perona if he wants to, but he is going to use the Sindri, gets another 5 into trash, does get the Absalom, which is very nice. It allows him to potentially get rid of either the Ryuma or the Roshinante, but is going to use that leader effect, going to trash 1 and trashes the Absalom to just bring him back real fast. He already had an Absalom in trash, but I mean, at the same time, it's not really that bad to get more into trash right here, especially when he does have a Hogback in hand as well. It looks as though he's missing some of the top end, but I'm just going to go 5 into life with Perona, and then he is going to give me a counter. I'll go ahead and rest the Absalom using Ryuma to KO it. And now Baby 5, I'm trying to look for potentially a 10-cost Dofi, but I'm also considering whether I wanted to pick up like a blocker or some counters. So we end up getting that 2-cost Roshinante here. I know that Gecko Moria is like a pretty weird matchup for Perona sometimes, that it feels as though it comes down to whoever sees more of the 8-drop, and if you are Perona, you do have the option of seeing 10-drop as well, but it can be a little bit awkward in some of the sequencing. It just kind of boils down to whoever got to see the card first, or whoever had like the better hand afterwards. And he is going to trash a couple of cards though, gets the Absalom to KO my Ryuma again, but did have to use a Suru right there in order to get it a little bit lower. So as much as, that feels great to get the Ryuma off the board, sadly, he's only got 2 cards in hand, and not having an 8-drop on, actually, no, I believe that was his 7 Dawn turn, so I don't think it was possible for him to get 8-drop anyways. I'm just going to go 5 to life, and would you believe it, yet again, another Ryuma into a Kuzan. I want to get this Kuzan onto the board and make it a little bit harder for him to deal with now that he's used a lot of his removal. Kuzan just helps me potentially get rid of his 8 cost if he does throw that down. And he's got 9 Dawn to work with though, so he can bring a lot of his trash back here. He's still got a blocker to work with. Is considering using the Inupe here for 2, but is just going to go ahead, and it looks as though an Ice Age onto Ryuma, and Ryuma is going down yet again. So none of these have lived, but they're doing their best. They are absolutely trying their best. Absalom is going to KO the Ryuma, and I did give a 2k for the 6k attack right here. And it looks as though he's just going to rest 4 for Borsellino and go ahead and pass it over with 1 Dawn active. So I think that swinging 7 there would have been really nice for him, because he didn't have anything to use for that 1k or 1 remaining Dawn right there. And now I just got to figure out what's going to be the best plan of action for me. I have the 8-cost Gecko Moria in hand, so getting Ryuma back and being able to KO the Absalom once again is pretty nice and solid, all things considered. If I go 5, I know more than likely that he'll just take it. But I'm going to go 6, and he is going to go ahead and counter out with the Borsalino. And now I can go 6 into the Borsalino if I really want to, yeah. And go ahead and rest Absalom and play the 8-cost Moria. Oh, and I realized, like, after I did this that I was supposed to rest Absalom, but yet again, we're just kind of practicing here. So it's it's, you know, we're fine with taking back some actions, but I was supposed to rest Absalom first and then bring back the 2-cost blocker and the Ryuma to KO the Absalom there. And, you know, I know it was a little bit out of order, but, you know, like I said, we're not playing competitively. We're just testing for fun. So we want to try and play as many optimal plays as possible. And yeah, so the board is looking super solid for us right now. We've got the 8-cost established. We've got Kuzan on the board with two of the Roshinante blockers, which is actually extremely helpful. And he does have some options to be able to pick back up some of his cards, but unfortunately, it doesn't look as though he's seen a single 8-cost yet, and that's pretty massive. He is going to use the Dr. Hogback, and yeah, he's searching. He's really trying to find that 8-cost Moria, but unfortunately, just hasn't been able to get it. Is going to play the Perona though. I'm not sure if I have 5 in hand. I'm not sure if I have 5 in hand. But maybe I do. No, it's just the, excuse me, it's the Hogback to get Perona back into hand. I got 4 in hand at the moment because I countered out of that swing. And now we're just going to see a Sindri, I believe 6k swing. I'll go ahead and choose to take this one though. I know that getting rid of his board should be very easy for me, especially because we just saw another 8-cost. Another 8-cost Gecko Moria here. But I'm just going to go 5 to life, lowering the Hogback. I'll go 6 to life with Ryuma. I knew that he had the Perona, so all things considered, not that bad. 5 into life with this, with my leader, but I probably could have just went for game, if I'm being completely honest. I could have probably just went 6, 9 with Moria, and then attached the rest to Roshinante, but I did decide to just play it a little more safe since we're only at 1 life. And he does have quite a bit of attackers on board, so I just wanted to get rid of some of them. And now I will go ahead and get that Ryuma down, replacing... or no. Oh, I choose to go Kuzan. Oh, and then I still had the Moria swing. Okay. All fine there. That makes sense. I was actually thinking for a second, like, dude, am I leaving him that extra attacker? With him having Absalom, like, there could be, you know, potential for game right there. But he does finally find the 8-cost Moria. Unfortunately, though, it's not really going to do him much justice here. So he gets the Perona onto board. I'll go ahead and trash the Ryuma. I know that I should have game the next turn anyways with 2 8-costs on board. A big swing with Sindri. I'm just going to go ahead and block. And now he's got to pass it over. So with no blockers on board, I believe, what, 1 card in hand? Maybe 2? No, I think it's... Oh, no, that's just his Dawn. Yeah, so I think no cards in hand. I'm just going to go 5k. He does get the Great Eruption, forcing me to trash one. But a double 9k swing, we end up taking that first game. All things considered, pretty solid. Didn't end up seeing the 10-cost Doflamingo, but didn't really feel like we needed it. And Jacob and I hop into a second match as well. Wanted to play it right back. Simply because he didn't see any 8-cost Morias. Felt as though we had, you know, a pretty simple win, all things considered. Oh, this was funny. I put down 5 life because I had been used to playing Gecko Moria, and Perona's only 4, so quick solution on that one. And he gets another Sindri down. Unfortunately, not seeing any of the Thriller Bark cards again, if I'm not mistaken. Little unfortunate, but you know what is fortunate is that he has 2 8-cost Morias in hand. So you know that he is going to be looking pretty solid with that. I am going to use the Baby 5 search. I get the Roshinante. I love having Roshinante here just because I'm thinking of getting rid of Sindri with Perona. simply because I don't want him to get a free swing into baby 5, and then I can put down that blocker so that baby 5 will more than likely survive one more turn. And I'll go ahead and pass it over. If I have Ryuma in hand, being able to use that baby 5 search into Ryuma the following turn would actually be really nice as well. Still keeping searching power going, keeping life healthy, all that good stuff. But it just depends on what he's got going on. So Absalom is going to KO the Rocinante here, and then he's going to go 6k into the baby 5. And I was considering how the interaction would work here, because I was like, oh, what if you were using Absalom to KO it? I guess it wouldn't really be that relevant, because I could have just used Rocinante's effect either way, but they still both would have died. So 6k into baby 5 does get that cleared and off the board. I would have loved to get one more search out of it, but you know, Absalom's a pretty good card. And now it looks as though I have an X-Drake and a Ryuma in hand, so I have options. But I do think just like a 6k to life wouldn't be that bad. But I'm actually going to go 5 into Absalom to see if I can get a card out of his hand. And I do. I get the Inupe, so very happy with that. Little risky, because if he just lets it go, it feels as though I've wasted, you know, using my X-Drake. And I do need to get some cards out of his life at some point. But an Ice Age onto Absalom, or excuse me, onto X-Drake is probably just going to get that Absalom coming right back out, KOing the X-Drake. Yeah, Ice Age has just been a card I've absolutely loved in Gecko Moria. At first I was running it as like a 2 of, but the more that I've played the list, the more that I've liked it at actually 4. I cannot imagine not having that card in so many different circumstances, but... this was, yet again, a bit of a earlier stage in the Gecko Moria as well as the Perona list that I was running. So I was choosing to run Inupe over the brand new. And I think that Inupe is actually pretty great for Perona personally. But as far as Gecko Moria, I've actually really been enjoying running brand new instead. I do get to get 2 cards into trash, and I'll go ahead and swing 5 into life, get another X-Drake down to get Absalom off the board. It feels like I'm kind of like I'm beating a dead horse right here. You know, I keep KOing Absalom, but he keeps coming back. And that's yeah, that's pretty much the idea behind Gecko Moria, is constantly, you know, constantly bringing these cards back over and over and over again. 5k is going to get out the Gecko Moria, or 5k into leader, and then he's going to play the Gecko Moria. More than likely, if I had to take a guess, playing... Oh, interesting. Okay, I thought for sure that we might be seeing a Helmeppo into Absalom to get rid of X-Drake, but I think he's just prioritizing getting some other cards into trash, but also back into hand. And now he's going to go ahead and cycle out both of the Gecko Morias that he found, but then using Absalom's effect second, he can return to and get that Gecko Moria right back. So it does kind of free up some space and gets the card right back into hand. And now I've got to worry about dealing with this 8-drop Moria. It's going to be pretty annoying. And as much as I didn't want to give him that Inupe, I kind of felt as though I had to. So I do just go ahead and swing 3 into it. I'm going to go 6 into life. He goes ahead and takes. I'll go 4 for Kuzan and another 5 for Sabo, making sure that everything is un-KOable. And this Kuzan will survive a turn at least. And now I can just go ahead and pass it over after trashing 2. Probably not the 2 that I really wanted to trash, but I don't think I had that spectacular of a hand. Maybe I just had cards that I needed, like my 2Ks, as well as this 10-cost Tofi. But now I know that he's going to be playing another Gecko Moria. He doesn't have to go the KO route yet again. He can pretty much just go defensively and maybe play like a Borsalino here. But a 9k swing into X-Drake, I am just going to let that go. We are going to see a leader swing for... Oh, actually, he's going to use his leader effect. Very interesting. I thought for sure he would be using a cost Moria here. But bringing back Dr. Hogback onto the field and then replacing the hand, getting Perona back into it, just has to return 2 cards He was thinking about using Absalom, but then remembered about the Sabo effect. So yeah, just has to get 2 cards back. Just trying to decide which ones are less useful in trash, and he's going to go with, I believe, just 2 Anupes here. I like to have one of them in trash if possible, just for 8 cost, but I go ahead and take the life, and after he swings with Gecko Moria, and he'll go ahead and pass. So now 10 cost is actually looking pretty appetizing here. I'm going to go ahead and rest the Hogback and swing 5, and then lowering the Sabo. I was kind of expecting him to rest it, but I also kind of couldn't imagine like if he did just block it or just counter out of it. I wanted to play down 10 cost Ophi this turn, but I also really wanted to get something off the board. It didn't work the way I wanted, so I'm just going to leave Hogback active, and now at least his leader won't be able to get value off of, you know, leader effect. Gecko Moria is not that much of a threat, at least on this turn. And I took a look at his trash, though. I just kind of want to see what are some potential plays he could be using. I think he's got Lucci in there, so Lucci and Helmeppo are looking pretty satisfying. And he also has the Great Eruption in hand, so being able to draw a card, but also, you know, the minus effects onto Kuzan or potentially Sabo, being able to remove those off the board. Yeah, it can be pretty annoying, but I think we're just seeing a 7k swing here into my Kuzan, if I'm not mistaken. No, he does decide to change that up a little bit. He decides to go 6, I believe. So 6 into Kuzan with Dr. Hogback. I'm deciding whether I want to drop a 2k or not for this. I do have, you know, I believe 2 in hand, so it's not horrible, but I got 3 life to get through. I know that more than likely he's dropping Gecko Moria this turn, so I'll go ahead and give him the 2k counter. And now we are just gonna see a Great Eruption onto Kuzan using Gecko Moria, and he's gonna get that Helmeppo and Lucci combo, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's looking to take out both Sabo as well as Kuzan, but it looks as though he might have done his math a little wrong on being able to get both Sabo and Kuzan, but at least he can still get the Anupe right here. So yeah, minusing, that makes them both a 2 cost, so or wait, is there Sabo? No, what am I thinking? Sabo effect isn't relevant here because of 10 cost Dofi being played last turn. Yeah, it was the previous turn I had that. That's right, I played 10 cost Dofi. Yeah, so he's doing this just right. How I expected this, but he did forget he did forget about some of the cost there, and does end up getting the Sabo off the board, or excuse me, the Kuzan and the Anupe, but just kind of messes it up a little bit. And we end up realizing this afterwards, is that he played Helmeppo, but then replaced Helmeppo with Rob Lucci. You're supposed to play both cards down and then they take effect, and we end up realizing this like right around now, I believe, in the game. We were kind of looking at it like, yeah, can you replace that with Helmeppo? And it's like, no, I believe that you have to play the cards first before they take the effect. And that's why, yet again, uploading these matches, because I've really been enjoying kind of learning the different aspects of it, and you know, like what are kind of like common mistakes that people can make when you do get these cards, you know, initially. And yeah, that was something that I knew for sure. That we had played this out on the sim before, and that you have to be able to play both cards before they start to take effect. So Hogback would have to be replaced in that situation. I wish I had another 10 cost Ophi here. I don't believe that we do. So I'm just going to go 10 into his Sabo. Just go ahead and get it off the board. Unfortunately, I would have liked to go into the Gecko Moria, but I know that he had quite a bit of counter power in hand as well. I'm going to go 6 to life, though. This is a very easy Perona for him. I'm going to rest the Rob Lucci. Just playing the 2 cost blocker, but I also get my own Moria onto the field, which is really nice. I did actually like not think about this completely. I choose to go Ryuma, and I don't know. I think that I should have replaced... this is where I messed up, is I should have replaced my Sabo with another 2-cost. I should have rested the Ryuma and then played the 2-cost Roshinante over the Sabo. I got a little greedy. I didn't really consider my opponent just using Absalom and then just KOing the Roshinante, and that's exactly what he does here. He's just going to trash a card, gets to mill 2, and now we're going to see that Absalom coming right back out, KOing this. I believe this is a 9k swing to life as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, you got 4 Dawn left. I was like, yeah, there's no chance of me winning this. So I do just go ahead and take it. And I'm just like kind of banking on it getting enough counter to be able to get out of one of the Gecko Moria swings. I don't believe I'll be able to, but I'm just kind of trying to act as though I'm confident enough to get out of it. So I don't think I was really given the greatest of mannerisms right here, but sadly I did not have the counter there. I think I kind of played that one a little poorly towards the end, but yeah, I don't know. Definitely some better decision making that I could have made at the end. But I always like to upload these even though we make some mistakes. It's because going through these mistakes and playing through them is kind of how at least I myself am able to get like a better handle on what card interactions should be like, how we should be using leader interactions or the sequencing of events of cards and stuff like that. And yeah, I just always like to show them and explain kind of what's going through my head as it's going through. But let me know your thoughts, guys. I appreciate you watching the video as always, and I'll catch y'all in the next one, all right? Peace.